Let's make peaches and cream overnight oats. Hey there, my fit friends and food lovers. It is the Coach That Cooks coming at you again to help you solve fat loss problems through food, because food is the enabler of our progress and not the enemy. So today what we're gonna be making peaches and cream overnight oats. Now, if you haven't had overnight oats, they're just like normal oatmeal, except instead of cooking it stovetop, what you do is you actually mix it the night before, set it in the fridge overnight, tis the namesake. The dry ingredients soak up all of the liquid and you have the consistency of oatmeal without cooking. The first thing we're gonna be using are dried peaches. You could do this with mangoes. That's honestly one of my favorite variations. I'm just gonna use my kitchen scissors. I'm gonna cut these up into little pieces. I'm gonna go as quick as I can here. A few slices of these dried peaches and we're good to go. Because we're making oatmeal, whether we're doing it overnight or we're doing it on the stove, I love dried fruit in it because it kind of reconstitutes, either as it soaks overnight or as it's cooked on the stove. So these dried pieces of fruit become closer and closer to the glory of the fresh version as we make the oats. And that is a fun little treat. Now that we've got those dried peaches all in the bowl and ready to go, we're gonna add more of the dry ingredients. So it's gonna be a half cup of oats, a tablespoon of chia seeds. Now the reason for this, they're super absorbent, so it helps create that texture we want that's like oatmeal without it being cooked. A little pinch of salt. I know it's like the most commonly skipped part of oatmeal instructions, right? Like, and a pinch of salt. But the reason why we do it is it helps bring out the flavor of the dish in all cooking, right? So we don't want to neglect the salt here. Now we're gonna add those wet ingredients. A half cup of the milk alternative, whatever floats your boat. You could even do a protein drink or a protein powder if you want to, it's up to you. And then 1/4 of a cup of egg whites. These are not your standard egg whites, these are pasteurized egg whites. So they are safe to eat. There's no food safety issues because they've been pasteurized. I realize it sounds a bit weird to put egg whites into it. I promise it tastes good. Try it at least once. It adds something to both the texture and the flavor of these oats, not to mention the macronutrients, being that there is protein. Lastly, I'm just gonna sweeten mine with a little bit of honey. You can use sugar, you could use brown sugar, you could use agave, you could use maple syrup, you could use whatever sweetener you want. For all intents and purposes, what matters most is the sweetness. You could use a 0-calorie sweetener as well. I'm gonna use honey, because I like how honey and peaches play together. I'm just gonna do a little bit of honey, a little bit of sweetness in here, and give it a nice stir, get it all incorporated. And honestly, I'm just gonna put this in the fridge overnight, voila. It's that simple, and that's why it is a fat loss food. Overnight oats are fast, they're quick, they're grab and go. It's the sort of thing that like you need. You could literally make this in a jar, let it sit overnight, take it with you in the car when it's breakfast time in the morning. It is thick, it is luscious, it is ready to eat, and honestly, I'm excited to dive in. Delicious, creamy, overnight oats. It's so good.